Hi, welcome to my first ever episode of Living Patiently in This Story. And I'm Patience.
I'm Story.
And today we're going to discuss how we met and our testimonies and how we reached our goal to start our podcast. So, if you want to explain how we met, I guess,
Okay, so we kind of met in the church. I think we knew of each other, but we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So it was at youth group because our youth group is a little different than other youth groups. We actually go on Sundays.
Yeah.
So instead of Wednesdays, we go after church on Sundays. And I was just like, get her number. And I was like, I will next week, Lord. I will next week, Lord. I will next week. And he's like, get her number. So I was like, hey, can I get your number? And we were actually at lifeguarding at work for training. So we got our numbers and we didn't really text each other, maybe hi and how are you?
Yeah, it was mutual. We'll just say that.
Yeah, it was mutual. And then I was actually working on a yearbook for school. And the Lord was like, ask her about a podcast. And I was like, why? And then I asked her, and then she said,
heck yeah. I mean, it would be amazing because before I met her, I moved from Arizona to Montana, and that's where we live now. And I just thought of, like, I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to serve the Lord through something, and I thought a podcast would be great. And I met her, and, like, that's, like, one of the first few things she texted me about. I was like, oh my gosh, it's, like, so cool because, I've been praying about it, and we kind of, like, had the Holy Spirit talk to us about the same thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then we're like getting more to know each other. We're hanging out a little bit more. And we were like, oh no, we need to do a fundraiser for equipment.
Yeah, we felt like we were going to be cooked. And
yeah.
we were like, I didn't have money at the time. And I was working, but I did not have money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, we need to do a fundraiser. Mm-hmm. So we were actually here together on this bed, this mm-hmm. very bed, mm-hmm. and we were like, we should maybe do a movie night at the church. I'll ask the pastor's wife.
Yeah.
And then we realized Father's Day is coming up. And we're like, let's do a daddy-daughter dance.
Yeah, it was like perfect timing because we still had 2 weeks to plan it out. And it gave us like the amazing amount of time to send out the information and to save up money for decorations and other things.
Yes. And the cool thing about it is one of our youth leaders, she also goes to church, and she was actually our boss.
Yeah, she was our lifeguard boss.
Yes.
It was kind of funny.
So we were telling her about this podcast and the fundraiser, and she's like, I have perfect decorations for you guys. So we got decorations for free.
Yeah.
From her.
How much of a God thing is that? Like, that is such a God thing.
Yeah. So we did that. We did the daddy-daughter dance. We fundraised for money. And then we were like, okay, great. We have enough money for our equipment. And then we found a different set that we liked. And it was like a little bit out of our budget. So we're just kind of like pushing off until we could save up for money. And we're like, this is not working.
Yeah.
So I was looking at different equipment. And I just kind of added things into my cart from Amazon. And it was all in our budget. And I was like, we can get our equipment.
I was literally jumping off of my couch in the living room, like literally screaming because I was so excited. And it was like the best feeling ever.
Yeah. So we bought our equipment literally the next couple days.
Yeah.
And then it arrived like a week later. We tested sound. And then like 2 weeks later, this is where we are recording our first episode.
And we are so hyped to finally share the good news with you guys and encourage you with your walk of faith. And I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. This podcast is really for anyone like teens, especially girl teens, even boy teens, like everyone's welcome to listen to this
guys,
podcast.
you're not the only one.
We want everyone to feel welcome to this podcast. Even though we're both girls, we want everyone to listen to it. So,
I will first explain my testimony, and then she'll explain hers. So, in my freshman year, I led myself to not a very good place, and then when I moved to Montana, I felt like I needed to get out of bad influences I was leading to myself. My friends were amazing. They wanted to help me grow, and as I started like learning by myself, I felt like as if I was growing my relationship with God more instead of people. And I felt like so much more joy. I feel like I actually learned lessons from my past, and then I kind of grew out of just being misled by my own thoughts and depression. And it was really amazing to see that God changing my life. Yeah.
So I knew of the Lord when I was little, like I believed in Him. And me and my mom would go to church some days, and then we just stopped going to church. And years went by, we were living our life. I forgive my dad, but he like struggled with alcoholism, and that was just kind of a big thing for our family to deal with. And so I had to learn the forgive very early. So I tend to be a very forgiving person really easily, which that is also what I learned from the Lord. But so we stopped going to church, and my dad was dealing with that. And then I was actually telling my mom, I was like, Mom, we should go back to that church that we used to go to. We should go back. And then some big incident happened with me and my parents, but actually my parents only, and I had to witness it. And then I struggled with anxiety so bad. Like every day was just so bad. And this was my 8th grade year. And so I met my PE teacher at the time. And she is just such a godsend. Like, she was also my middle school youth leader. So we were like this. And she helped me through so much with all that anxiety. She prayed for me. Like, she was just there a lot. And then it started to get better. And then kind of the same incident happened. And then, actually before that, my uncle died. So that put me into a very bad mental space. Because me and him were really close. So I started to just become very depressed. And I just had very bad thoughts that I should just not be here anymore. And all of that. And that I should just hurt myself and stuff like that. And just kind of my freshman year, it was just, I knew the Lord, but I wasn't very in my Bible a lot, so I didn't really know Him. So, and I was praying for a friend in God. Most of my friends know I'm a believer, but they aren't a believer. So that was just kind of a very hard space for me to be in. So I was just praying for a friend, and I was struggling with mental health, and the enemy was just very much attacking me. And I was doing bad things to myself, and my friends knew, and I just kept getting reported at school. So that was hard, and I had a therapist, and it wasn't a very good space. And then things got better, and then I started my Jesus kind of helped me with my grief with it. And then an incident happened again with my parents. And then I was I fell right back into that depression state, and those thoughts were coming back in. But then I like stopped, and I was like, okay, we're not going through this again. We're not doing this again.
Yeah.
We're not going back to where we were. So before that, actually, that's when I met her. A couple months before that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that incident happened before Father's Day. So I didn't have my dad for Father's Day for that daddy-daughter dance. It was actually the day before Father's Day, if I remember correctly, this year. So that was kind of hard, but I just kind of let Jesus just kind of lead me. And I let her just kind of like be there. So, and then I was actually getting to the Word. I was praying. I talked to my youth leader, and she is so amazing. Like,
she's very encouraging.
Like, mm-hmm. She is one of the reasons that like I basically know Jesus. And so that incident happened. I went back to my Word. I started reading my Bible more. I started praying more. I started actually journaling to the Lord. And then that just kind of grew me into like, I'm not letting things bother me basically anymore. If I'm like overthinking or anxious or I'm like getting into that depressed state, then I'm like, okay, Lord. And I pray, and it just helps me get out of that. So if you relate to one of our stories, amazing. We're so happy, and we're so glad that our
even came here to watch this video. No matter what you've been through, God can still fix that mess. And it might seem like probably going through a hard time or not, and giving God glory helps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, letting God have all the glory is like one of the best things you can do. Like praising Him, worshiping Him. That's one thing I can say about worship is once you really get into it and start worshiping Him, those like anxious feelings just kind of like the worship calms you because you stop thinking about it and you're focusing on the Lord. So, yeah. And also one thing I could say is if you think your testimony is boring, it is not boring. Jesus gave you that testimony for a reason to help other people.
Yeah.
So, that's just one thing I could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So, that's basically how we got here to where we are now. And I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Yes, me too.
So,
yeah.
We made little shorts. We didn't have our equipment.
Yeah.
Just trying to do our best, but I feel like this is very going to be helpful. And
even though we may not have the best quality in sound or through recording or editing, we want to use this for the glory of God, and through rich or poor in whatever we have in whatever we do, we want to give God glory through it, and I know He sees that. So yeah, and definitely continue praying for our podcast because we want to spread the gospel through this and share good news that He has for everyone. So yeah.
Yes, also with something she said, that He knows. He also knows like your heart and what you mean by it. So if you're having thoughts about starting a podcast, do it for the glory of God. So it's really fun, and we've praised Jesus all throughout this, and we're not letting it just be us.
Yeah.
Because it isn't just us, we're letting Jesus shine through us. So
yeah. Thank you for watching our first ever episode. We're really glad you came to watch this, and can't wait to see you next time. Yeah. Bye.